have a law at the federal level that would say after 15 weeks, no abortion on demand, except in cases of rape, incest, to save the life of the mother. And that should be where America's at. And what would that mean if we adopted that position? The next chart. Where are the chart people?
Yep.
Lindsey Graham, if you're not familiar who he is,
he's the anti-choice
Republican jackass.
Republican senator from South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And safe to say, he's a racist ass motherfucker.
I ain't even gonna hold you. Yep. Yep. But so in his, I'll say his bill while I'm looking for that video. So in his, what he's proposing, what him and his constituents are proposing is that we in America come up to what the majority of the civilized world is at right now, and in their proposed abortion bill, I know they told you that states' rights and all that was their goal, was their aim, but no, he's proposing a federal abortion criteria, I guess. What he's saying is 15 weeks, after 15 weeks, abortions will be illegal after 15 weeks, except for cases in which the life of the mother is in jeopardy, or incest or rape. And he said he picked 15 weeks because that's when I think she had the video up. But he said that's when the actual pain receptors start to engage. So if you could pull that up, you could do that.
Should have a law at the federal level that would say after 15 weeks, no abortion on demand, except in cases of rape, incest, to save the life of the mother. And that should be where America's at. And what would that mean if we adopted that position? The next chart. Where are the chart people?
Yep.
If we adopted
chart people,
you're on the right.
We would be in the mainstream of most everybody else in the world. I think there are 47 of the 50 European countries have a ban on abortion from 12 to 15 weeks. And I picked 15 weeks, which is a little longer than Belgium, Germany, and Spain, longer than France, Denmark, and Norway. Now, why did I do that? Because I feel comfortable at 15 weeks, the science tells us that the nerve endings are developed to the point that the unborn child feels pain. So the theory of the case here is not to be like Europe so much, is to have a standard in America that would prohibit abortions during the birthing process at a stage where it's pretty clear from the science and most of the world, this should be a no-go unless there's some extraordinary reason. So we will be introducing this bill as of like right now. People will join. I hope it will be bipartisan, and we will have a debate, if we're allowed to bring it up, as to why we're doing what we're doing. Abortion is a contentious issue. Post-Dobbs, America's got to make some decisions. And the first thing I would say about the Dobbs decision is that abortion's not banned in America. It's left up to elected officials in America to define the issue. You have states have the ability to do it at the state level, and we have the ability in Washington to speak on this issue if we choose. I have chosen to speak. I have chosen to craft legislation that I think is eminently reasonable in the eyes of the world, and I hope the American people. At 15 weeks, pretty much strong majority of Americans believe abortion should be the exception, not the rule.
Here we've got Lindsey Graham essentially.
Okay, you can pause.
trying
You
to
can stop
screw
it.
over
You can
his own
stop it. You
party.
can stop it. You can stop it now. I hate that guy, by the way.
That white guy that just popped up right after that.
Yeah, I hate him.
Hey, I kind of agree with this racist motherfucker.
Hey, look.
I'm cool with that.
Hey, look. It's hard to argue in the face of like absolute reason, like logical, thought out, rational ideas. It's hard to argue against them shits.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't force. It gives a choice.
Mm-hmm. Gives a
And
choice.
and I'm definitely cool with that. I'm good with that. I would vote for that law.
I would too. I would too. Now, there are individuals that wouldn't though. There are those that are saying that the Republicans used the guise of states' rights, which they, you know, what they use as their rallying cry. States' rights is all should be up to states' rights, and abortion should be states' rights. This, that, third, states' rights, states' rights, states' rights. To then immediately, after they overturn Roe v. Wade, to introduce a federal bill. Although I agree with the bill, it's just crazy that you went from state rights, state rights, state rights to immediately, hey, look, yeah, federal.
You know what? We got this.
Yeah, across the board.
Here, yeah, damn.
Across the board. But they so damn diabolical because they're gonna hit you with just reason. It's just reasonable.
Hey, I'm good with them changing the definition of states' rights to their rallying cry for abortion, because before it was they rallying cry for racism. So I'm cool with that. You know, they were states' rights is racism till about 2008, 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And now they want to switch it up. You know what? All right, cool. One less code word for racism that y'all got. I'm good with that.
Like a motherfucker, but they get this shit over, they're gonna be right back to it. But yeah, it's such a reasonable fucking bill, and there's all this pushback behind it, and we act like we can't be intelligent in our discussion about it. So the pushback that I've seen to it that was reasonable, it came in real time in that conference, and we ain't got to go back to play it. But there was a reporter. Her name isn't important. I don't remember it. It's not important. But it might even be the reporter. It might have been somebody else. I can't exactly remember. But what she said, it was a reporter because he said it at the meeting because his response was wild, but accurate like a motherfucker. She said that she had an abortion and she deemed it necessary because of the welfare of her child. Her child would have been born with a defect that would have greatly impacted the quality of life it would have had, and that length of life was predicted to be extremely short. Like you born and you die in pain. Like you don't get developed. The baby wasn't gonna be long term out of the womb viable. And she was at about like 16 or 17 weeks or something like that. And she had an abortion. But she said that in the middle of the conference that my abortion wouldn't be legal under your bill as obstinate to that opposition to that bill. And his immediate response, didn't skip a beat, was like, hey, we ain't finna be Saudi Arabia. Talking about, hey, look, we not gonna be Saudi Arabia in this bitch. He might not say Saudi Arabia, he might have said another country, but whatever. His response made sense, but the issue that I have is that the point of contention, we just try to entrench without using common sense. What she said was perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
What he said was perfectly reasonable. But they are opposed. And there is absolutely no reason in that you couldn't also make room in that bill that would accommodate her type of special circumstance when the health of the baby is in question and it'd be jeopardy, and then quality of life would be, horrible or not viable or whatever legalese, spin you want to put behind it. But it's a perfectly reasonable road that we can both travel down together and not have this be a point of contention where we just corner off in our own particular sections and just throw arrows at each other.
Yeah, but I mean, then from there you get like a whole bunch of slippery ass slopes. Like, all right, so what determines where this is quality of life? All right, my baby end up blind. I think that's horrible quality of life. So should I be able to do it then? Or my baby end up deaf? That's going to be a horrible quality of life? Should I be able to do that? See, it's easy once you start giving options. Then a motherfucker always try to put that extra foot in.
Okay. And this is why I think a conversation should be had about it. And we don't just cut and dry and just end shit and be all shit. So with that being said, like there's actual argumentative stances that you can have based in those realities. So baby being born blind. It's not good. I'm not gonna say it's not overcomable. I'm not going to say that a person can't lead a full and valuable life being blind or deaf, not deaf, or deaf, or any other type of handicap that you could be born with that your life would be able to go into, you'd be able to live. Now, but there are certain things that a baby can have in the womb, which we would know that it's not going to be viable for a very long time outside of the womb. This baby may live for a month, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days. It's going to be horribly disfigured. You know what I'm saying? There's children that is the reality of.
Indeed, it is.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that we have to remove the ability for us to have the conversation about these things. I think that it should be an option of you being able to go to court and plead your case about your situation, as opposed to just automatically being, okay, well, whoever wanted to get it, and then it's just what it is. Like, there has to be some type of medium that we can reach as rational human beings that coexist in a society. And when we start to just corner off and just ignore logic and thought, that's when we get fucked up.